We're live. Sorry people, we've had technical difficulties, just to show you how live it is. And I'm giving you the faces behind the camera today. We've got the wonderful Astrid makeup.
Hi guys.
Magic Mike and his thumb. I asked him to come in front of the camera, but he wouldn't have any of it. He wants to remain faceless. Don't you worry, I'm going to get his face when we're in New York next season in February. Even though it'll probably be all completely covered up in a beanie hat and scarf and everything else on the outside roof of a show, catching the runway. Right, yeah. So welcome to another live. Welcome to Unite Headquarters. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Look at this head of hair I've got today. So we've had huge amount of requests for dealing with beautiful, natural, textured hair. I really want to show you a great head of hair for this demo. And I'm going to actually talk to our model as well. She's going to introduce herself, because we know that's the sort of thing we can do on these lives. Tell us what she does, because she's sort of in the industry as well, a little bit. So, who are you, young lady?
I'm Alyssa. Nice to meet you guys. I'm a receptionist at a hair salon, and I've been pretty much raised in the salon my entire life, so I know a little bit what I'm doing with my hair. I only wash it about once or twice a week, and I put in a lot of hair masks in between.
Great. So we're going to have conversations with her while this is going on, because really the crux of this was, yes, we're doing silky smooth, we're doing it on textured hair, great hair. Just out of interest, she is Ali's receptionist, Ali, who does some of our education videos for us as well. You've seen her before. Hello, Ali, if you're watching. So yes, definitely silky smooth on this hair. It's been oft requested when we've done the demos, and it's just a good bit to recap as well, just to take the fear factor out of stylists. You know, they get clients like this sometimes come in the salon and, oh my God, how do I deal with it? So the good thing is, I've already spoken to Alyssa already. I'm going to be talking to her about her own hair and her own practices, what she does with it, and the big yes, yes, I do that. No, I definitely wouldn't do that. I think they are the real crux of it all. And let's just talk about shampooing first. Cleansing. Yes, I've used a silky smooth system, shampoo and conditioner. When I'm dealing with textured hair, what is my main area of interest when I'm cleansing it? Am I going to shampoo it vigorously all over? Definitely not. For me personally, I think my main area of interest is always to give a good cleanse on the scalp. Okay, good thorough cleanse on the scalp. Why is that? Purely because, as she said herself, she only washes her hair once a week. You can nod if you agree with me on this one. Just make me sound better. You can even interrupt me and tell me to shut up. This is fine by that. There's no qualms on our lives, okay? Because you're not washing it all the time, the scalp obviously is not then cleansed as much as maybe, you know, finer hair, normal textured hair, whatever you want to call it, as opposed to real good, proper, thoroughly textured hair. So what obviously happens is then, if the scalp is not removing dead skin cells and everything else, you do need that vigorous scalp wash and massage to really sort of give it a good cleanse. The shampoo then is going to move through the hair. Ideally, you're always going to have some sort of residue in this hair, right? Some sort of moisture. I like that, to have natural moisture plus whatever we're going to put into it. She already stated herself that she uses hair masks. So when I've used the Hydrating Complex Conditioner, number 2 in the system, I like to leave a little bit of this in the actual hair, mid-length to ends. So I do give it a little bit more than what I would do on an average head of hair. And then I like to feel that I've got some in here. Obviously then I'm going to come in with the number 3 in the system. Okay, this is the Heat Activator Sealant. And I'm going to be quite generous than what I would do on other hair types on how much I'm going to apply to it. And that is going to be my detangler as well. So really wide tooth comb and give it a really nice comb through. And as you can see, the benefit of using good shampoo, good conditioner really does comb through very, very easily. It gives me a really good idea of what I'm dealing with. And I wanted to definitely to do this from wet, purely because it's going to give us a great before and after shot of, you know, what the hair is, both sides. And we're going to look at using Silky Smooth in different permutations. So I'm going to come in with an iron straight away. So on damp hair, we're going to go straight into blow drying a part of it as well and have a look at the comparison with that. And also I'm going to just show you, just using it, that we can actually just take sections and we can twist it through with a comb and create some nice curl, and you can diffuse that as well. So different permutations on it. I would do that actually with the conditioner in it and the sealant. I think that works really, really well. And amongst all of that, purely because you don't want to see me blow drying too much, because you're never going to hear me, I'm going to be asking our lovely model some questions, because I think that we are going to get a really good information from her about the do's and don'ts of dealing with this hair type. As usual, leave your comments. Mike will chip in, tell me to shut up. If you've got anything to say, anything to ask, please feel free.
Got a couple hellos. Allie and Nikki saying hi. Good morning.
Ali and Nikki, they're your work colleagues, aren't they?
Hello.
Nice of them to be out of bed at last, is that what you said? So, what is my section site going to be for this? So, larger than what you would look at for classic keratin smoothing treatments. Okay, not tiny, tiny, tiny. What I sort of look at is like a thumb's width size of it. Obviously that will depend on the size of your thumb, obviously. So, you know, Magic Mike and his thumb, if he puts up in front of the camera, look at that, it's like a banana. So his section would be a lot larger than mine. So once I get that section, I come back in, the heat sealant, and just apply it a little bit more than what I would do to a different hair type. Okay, give it a nice little comb through, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to introduce the iron straight away. I know it's going on damp hair, people, we've said this before, and I come in that tapping motion. All right, so you're not getting any snap, crackle and pop. All right, there's no sizzle happening. She would be telling me if there's any sizzle and she could hear it. There's no sizzle, is there?
No,
Yep.
no sizzle.
No sizzle and pop. So what I'm doing now is that I'm activating the sealant and it's sealing it onto the hair, so you're like laminating it onto the hair. And obviously you're then drying it through, and then I'm going to start with that styling process. Just running the iron through. And when you're dealing with this hair type, you know, your method is not going to change compared to what you would do conventionally if I was straightening this. So what does that mean? It means that I have to pay particular attention to hairlines. Girls do like to control those edges, don't they? Tell them the secrets. So you're going to come down, you're going to use, I bevel the iron in, so I don't close the iron, I bevel it in and just manage to push that closer to the hairline, and then I can pull that away. And that, ladies and gentlemen, gives me great control over those little hairs in the front. So I'm being, you know, got a nice amount of tension on that hair. I could use a little tiny small iron if I do have one in my kit. It's always good to have those little tiny travel irons. They're really useful for those little hairs. But as you can see through here, I've cured the majority of that. And how simple was that? Our first section done. And I'm just going to carry on repeating that. And then I'm going to, while I do this, I'm going to let this young lady have a little chat with you all and tell us about her own hair care system. She already said she only washes it once a week and she puts masks on in between. So I'm going to interject with questions that I think are very, very relevant. You know, once again, it's always important to continue your education. We're never going to know enough, and I always think the older I've got, the less I know. I've decided I don't really know anything. So it's just great to hear it from the horse's mouth, as we say. So I'm just going to carry on. I'm just going to reiterate what I'm doing. So bevel that iron, so I don't close it. I'm just going to come down the root base, then tapping it in. Okay, young lady, tell me about your home hair care regime. So when you say you wash it, are you washing it with shampoo 2-3 times to cleanse it thoroughly, just once? And then what are you doing after you wash it, condition-wise and everything else?
So I like to just wash it once. If I do have product in there, I'll wash it a couple more times. not more than 2 though. And then
And so, all right, hold on, I'm going to stop you on that one. So why is that?
I just feel like I am fine with the one wash. My hair does pretty good with just one wash, but there are times when the product's a little bit more packed on that I will need to do that second wash. I love 7 seconds though for my hair. It works so good. And the mask is my favorite thing, the detangler mask to do after.
Great. So you use that, you find that's moisturising enough for your hair
It's
type.
great moisture, yeah.
Do you use the Boing detangler?
I haven't tried it yet, but
Sacrilege. Ali, alarm bells. Ring the police, get them round there, raid her home. Oh, her husband's a policeman, doesn't matter. Right, we're going to arrest, I'm going to go and get her sorted. I'm going to take her to court. So if you're interested, our Boing range for curly hair,
yes.
it is like 7 seconds on steroids. So it is even more moisturising than 7 seconds. So the mere fact you like 7 seconds is great, but I just suggest you try the Boing leave-in. You can see the density. We might even get Magic Mike to come and pick us up one and we can show you differences while we're here. So anyway, I rudely interrupted you, so let's carry on.
Yeah, I just really love the 7 seconds, the moisture in it's amazing. I usually use that after the shower, and I'll brush it out in the shower just because I feel like I need to hurry up and put
Hold on. Brushing it out, are you using a brush or a wide tooth comb?
a comb, yeah.
Okay.
I'll use a comb and brush it out
People
after
will listen to this and take you very literally if you mention stuff like that. She uses a brush! I don't use a brush. Why does she use a brush?
Wide tooth combs are the way
Wide
to
tooth
go.
comb. So not your cutting comb or anything like that. Nice wide
No.
tooth comb. Purely because, and I like this, doing this in the shower, I tell this to people all the time. Curly hair, everyone's hair sheds in the course of a daily thing. Curly hair is always more prone for the hair to actually stay on the head and not be able to fall off it. I don't know if you noticed that. You probably don't have your clothes like loads and loads of hair on there. But consequently, when you do wash it, how much hair do you have in your comb? Fair bit, not a lot?
Yeah, like it's just a tiny section.
Nice small amount, but it's in there. So that's the hair you're shedding. You're not losing it, you're shedding that. So using a comb to get rid of that, just really important. And obviously if you're using our new booster serum, you're not going to find anything in your comb because it's amazing. I've just got to keep plucking that. I'm still using it. Look at that, I didn't have any hair a week ago. It's phenomenal. I did, but it's grown so quickly. I have to sidetrack. I don't know if it's psychological. I was telling Magic Mike before we came on camera. This serum is fantastic. I've got some friends in the UK who are dying to try it out. I know it's coming out over there. It's a separate conversation. But anyone who does have shedding hair, booster serum, the way to go. I mean, I wasn't losing my hair, but look, I'm nearly 80 years old, and look at the hair I've got. It's phenomenal.
Got one question.
Yep.
Blow Homewood just joined, and they would like to know if you wash with Laser Straight or the Silky Smooth system.
It's all the Silky Smooth system, people. Silky Smooth, shampoo, conditioner, and the heat sealant. Purely because I am going for what I call the ultimate result with using this system. Yes, I can use Laser Straight. Yes, I could use 7 seconds. Yes, I can use any other shampoos in our range. But, is that the lock on the chair? For this result, might be able to smooth it. Hold on, look at that. Let's get that one out there. You got that? All right. And notice I'm not going dead flat as well. I've got a little bit of root movement there as well. And you can see how much hair she's got. Look at it, phenomenal. I've used shampoo, conditioner, and showing this going on damp, how it is designed for optimum use. I will do a little bit of blow drying later on, but hair dryer on a camera is not particularly great. So I want to do at least the whole front section in this live just to show you what it is capable of. So anyway, I rudely interrupted you. So you'll be talking about you've washed your hair, you might only wash it once depending on things like that. But ultimately for you, like I knew it was going to be, it's all about moisturising, isn't it?
Yes.
9 times out of 10, it's about moisturising.
Yes.
So I'm going to throw curveballs at you. So do you moisturise with like an oil?
I like using like an argan oil to
Yep.
moisturize my hair, but I try to not put it in there as much as I style it, maybe like a couple times a week.
Because?
I don't need that much, and I feel like it makes my hair look a little oily.
Okay, so why I'm asking that, I just think sometimes people who are not used to working on this hair texture would always come in and just want to smother it with oil.
Yeah, no.
And like, you're like, no, because that can actually make it feel a little bit brittle
Yeah.
as well, can't it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's what I found in my experience. You over oil it, can actually make it feel a little bit brittle. And it really is those moisturising creams that are key
Yes.
to put in your hair. So do you rinse those masks all out, or do you like to leave a little bit of it in there?
So when I rinse out my hair after the mask, I will sometimes leave just a little bit in, but I'll make sure that I rinse it out that night. Like if I'm washing it in the morning,
Yeah.
or vice versa, I rinse it out in the morning. Just because I feel like sometimes it needs that extra moisture, that extra time with it on.
The extra moisture, most important.
We do have a testimonial here about 7 seconds detangler. Detangles my hair, slices through it like butter. And that's from _Revashane.
Thank you for that. Well, the 7 second slices through butter, your boing is going to slice through it like you didn't even have butter. I'm going to carry on just doing this section. So we've given you like your shampooing. So styling, daily regime. What are you putting in your hair on a daily basis?
I just do like a cream and then an argan oil if I need it.
Yeah.
I try to just stick to the cream though.
Do you like our smooth and shine?
I do love smooth and shine.
There we go. I knew you was going to say that. Who doesn't love smooth and
I
shine?
know.
Who's got hair like this type?
That's definitely a go-to for when I'm styling
It's
my
got
curly
it's
hair.
got argan oil in there anyway. Do you go from roots right the way to the ends, or do you use mid lengths to ends?
I have to go from the roots to the end 'cause
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of my texture is more on the top.
Yep. So that's an interesting one because this varies. This is where your knowledge becomes so important about talking to your client. They've lived with their hair all their life. And she made that really interesting point. She felt like most of her texture is on the top. So the greater, what I call the greater area of resistancy and moisture loss, or head and knees moisture, maybe is on the top of her hair. So it's great that she pointed that out. It's a really great question to ask someone when they're in the chair, when you're styling it. Is like, okay, talk to me about the specifics of your hair. What are the problem areas, etc.? What do you feel is the most brittle, which I think is really important. I think it's really important to check out if they've had relaxers, texturizing lotions on there, purely because like the hairlines can become very, very brittle, and you have to become very, very aware of when you're dealing with that, is that you go gentle with them. I'm sure you've had it in the past where people have been a little bit too vigorous on your hair, and you've experienced breakages and things like that. I think it's quite a common thing. So I just say when you go into hairlines, etc., be a little bit more gentle with them, look after them, and your client will love you for it, and will be more inclined to come back to you because you've taken a little bit of time over it to create a great result. Right, sorry I was interrupting you, so carry on.
Yeah, so I like to go from root to ends. And as far as brushing out, I try to do all of that in the shower
Okay.
before it dries.
Combing out
Combing out with the wide tooth comb.
with the wide tooth comb. Anyone you like? Do you like a sort of wide tooth like that, or do you like one that's bigger, smaller?
Mine's a little bit smaller than that.
You would
but
like this one, though,
I
I'm
would
sure.
like that one,
That's
yes.
cool, yeah, it's funny that a lot of people would like that one. This is a great sort of like wide tooth pick comb, as I call it. It's beautiful. As you saw, there was no resistancy to when I was using her hair, so she's not having to make the face when I'm pulling it. And this is an interesting little snippet I came up with when I've been doing Fashion Week. Now, a lot of girls, they're quite used to having your hair pulled and from when you're young.
Mm-hmm.
Mothers, grandmothers, come here, sit in the chair, they give it a good yank.
Yes.
All right? Doesn't happen to the guys so much. The guys are a little bit more tender head. Did you know that? It can happen.
I agree.
I did not know that.
No,
but
actually, you didn't know that. But this is what I've felt from experience when I've got with guys with textured hair. They don't have the same because they haven't, generally their hair's been really short
Yeah.
as they've grown up, as they've grown it out. Their grandmother or mother has not been yanking it and pulling it and whatever and putting it into braids. So obviously that isn't there. You've had a lifetime of it, and you actually want to feel it being brushed.
Yeah.
Whereas I found experience. Just a little footnote. That's from my experience. This doesn't mean it's general, but when I've done models, I'm just a little bit more aware of that when I'm dealing with it. So anyway, we'll keep going. I digress. So your styling regime, and so this varies on whether. So I'm going to say, if you're leaving your hair curly, what are you going? What's your regime for that?
I'll just, when I wake up, I'll sometimes have to add like the 7 seconds detangler to get back the definition of the curl.
Yep.
And then, from there I can add creams and argan oils as I go. When I wear my hair straight.
Hold on. Don't get ahead of myself, because there's people there just like, oh, I should just add a cream. What are you doing to that cream? What's your application of that cream? This is really, I think this is really important, is that people will understand, okay, how do you apply it? What do you apply it to? Are you then just scrunching it in, or are you going through section by section and combing it through? Because there's so many different permutations that I know
Yeah.
about, but people don't.
So if my hair feels like it needs a little bit more curl to it, then that's when I would go with the scrunching up. But sometimes I'll wake up and I need to like smooth it out, so then that's when I would go from the root to the end and just kind of like go piece by piece wherever it's needed.
And do you find it
That's after I
happens,
wash
different times of the year, if there's
Yeah.
more moisture in the air, in the summertime it gets dried out, it's going to
Yeah.
look differently?
I definitely have to do more during the winter because my hair is more dry.
So that's interesting. People will normally think summertime it would be, because of the heat, it would be drier.
Yeah, it's opposite for my hair, I
Right.
feel like at least.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure if it has to do with like just the cold or I don't know. My hair always gets so brittle though sometimes
Right.
during winter. Like
Do you wash
it
and leave
doesn't
it
do that during summer.
a lot?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's one for you. Temperature changes. Cold temperature on wet hair can actually have the actual effect of making your hair feel more brittle.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about it. I'm talking to the people out there. But that is quite a commonality for all hair types. So often people think, oh, well, I'll just wash it, I'll just air dry it. Washing your hair, go straight out the door, especially like real cold climates, can actually make your hair, because you've got to think of it like, what do we call it, dry ice, it's almost like that effect. You go out there, what happens when you put something in dry ice? Think of it like just a petal, you can snap it. So that's where you get that brittle from the cold air. So that's just like an interest for people. So that's a great observation from yourself on that. So, okay, keep going. So that's for do you twist it with anything in it or anything like that, or not?
I don't really twist it. I do wrap it around like my finger or a comb,
Yep,
just to get those curls more defined.
yep. And you're using like a cream on that to actually get those
Yes,
defined?
I'll use the cream when I do
And are
that.
you applying it on the hair, or are you putting it in your hands and just twisting it?
On the hair usually.
Okay, so you put a nice liberal amount. Everyone's very different.
Yeah.
I like to sort of go through like section by section. I always have some on the back of my hand, put it in my fingers and then twist while I'm working on it. I just think that really, really helps. Anyway, we're talking about Silky Smooth. I'm going to talk about the actual chemicals and things like that, all the natural goodness that is in this to give us this great result. We're getting a really good before and after section here. It's fantastic. Look at that. Amazing. And we'll talk about it, but before, I'm just going to show this young lady. So this is our boing leave-in. All right, you can see through this. I'll give us your hand. I'm going to put some in here. Okay, that's boing leave-in. And on your other hand? Okay. And now you can just feel the camera. Yeah, there you go. And I want you to feel the density of each one. There's more slip to the 7 second.
Yeah.
This feels denser. So that's what I said. It's just that little bit more richer, a bit more intense. You don't have to have curly hair to use it. I think any hair that's coarse or anything like that, it's really, really good. So anyway, so that was moving on, different subject. So what I'm doing through here, as I say, each section I'm assessing if I need to feel a little bit more of the heat activator sealant. So let's talk a little bit more about Silky Smooth, why it's so good. Okay, it's got this Sil Soft.
If you want, you can throw it to me, or
Oh.
keep using it, it's all good.
Sil Soft CLX-E in there. So it's this is like the main constituent that runs through the whole cleanser, conditioner, and the sealant. What are they mixtures of? You've got sunflower and vegetable extract, protein, in the shampoo and the conditioner. And then in the sealant, we have macadamia and Olus oil, which are the really, really good sealants and moisturising constituents of the product. But the Seal Soft is the key. That is the one. Once again, the hair's too tapped. I'll put the actual sealant on. I come through where the hair is. There's old colour in this, so it's going to be a little bit more fragile. And come in, I'm just going to dust that a little bit more. Dry off the product with your tapping motion. And then I can come through and I can style as per normal. The iron is on hot. It's on 400. I think that will just depend on your hair types, personal preferences, how quick you are, etc. With all good straightening processes, you're looking for little tiny details. Any hair where, as I said, we've got more texture on the top, and I can feel this as I'm going through. It's that little bit more resistant in the root base as I'm going through. So once I've done it, I just come back into it. It's almost like I let the hair cool down a touch, and then I just find if I just pull that hair up from the scalp and then pop it back down, I get a much smoother root base. And as you can see through here, it is laying beautifully flat on the head as well. Got a great shine developing on that. Once again, we look for those little tiny hairs on the hairline. Make sure we hit those. Come in, control all those edges. And if you can, while you're doing it, get one of our magic sliders out. What I used to like to use on these all the time. No crease clip as I'm working. It's no different to when you're curling hair. By putting that in here, so you've obviously got a lot of heat on there initially, very intense. Just putting one of those in while you work. It lets the hair cool down, and so it still has the whole sort of like setting motion in place. Anyway, we've been chatting loads, Mike. Any questions so far, or everyone happy?
Everyone looks happy.
Yeah.
Got a wave from, oh, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry. Odette Lacey's.
Odette! Odette is one of the educators at Laces in the UK. She's got beautiful textured hair herself, amazing. I've worked with her on my Runway Ready course. She was part of the class, wonderful stylist. I'll be seeing her again in January when I'm over in the UK doing the class again, I do hope. Odette, am I going to see you then? I better, otherwise I'll be coming for you. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to catching up with you. Great to see you. How am I doing? Is it looking good? Once again, we're dealing with that a little bit more texture heavy on the top, so I'm just going to apply a little bit more of the sealant.
She said, hi Gary.
There you go.
With a smiley face. And yep, I'll be there.
Good. She owes me a cup of tea. Are we going to that nice pub again for lunch? Put it down on the calendar. Make sure we are on the second day. It wasn't a boozy lunch, by the way, if anyone's wondering. It's just a nice lunch. It's good for the social aspect of it, team building, etc.
Said it's looking good, and Anna's coming too.
Jolly good. Love it. So I'm just splitting some of these sections down. Where she's got that heavy texture, I just come in, I just pull the hair, elevate the hair up, and I just find I can get really, really nice down to the root base. But I'm very quick on this, so it's not putting, there's no heat going onto her scalp. At least I hope there's not. Otherwise she would be flinching and be like, oh, ah, oh, 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 ah, ah. Oh, she's still smiling, so we must be doing okay. Once again, no crease clip, holding that in the front. How are we doing time-wise, Mike?
It's been 40 minutes.
40 minutes already. I know there's been a lot of chatting and all the rest of it, but I just want to have a look at this from a distance. Fabulous. Look at that shine. Look at the difference in volume in comparison to here. So it's a great before and after, and we're nearly already at the top. If I had shut up and just got on with my work, let's ask this, if someone had to blow dry your hair and straighten it, how roughly long would that take?
About an hour.
An hour.
and a half. Yeah.
Hour and a half?
It depends.
Hour and 15?
Yeah, somewhere in
Okay,
there.
so we're pretty much, I always say we're doing this, you're about 15 minutes longer than doing a complete blow dry, etc.
Yeah.
Doing it this way, because it's more methodical,
Yeah.
but the length of time it's going to be, it's just going to give you greater longevity by using it on what I call the optimum method of shampoo, conditioner, heat styling and ironing from damp. And this hair, you know, as it's drying off, it obviously gets a little bit quicker, but you just come in and you just mist it with the heat sealant. That's the most important thing, you just mist it as you go. But the product's already on there, it hasn't disappeared because it's heat activated. So don't go crazy with it, just assess it as you're doing each section. I just wanted to make sure I just get up to the top, nice and methodically, and really do show you a good before and after. And she's not kidding when she says about her texture is on the top of her head. You can see like the curl types, how they change. It is really sort of quite vigorous down here in her root base, through here, mid-shaft, and then it just sort of gently eases out a little bit on the mid-lengths and ends. Is that about right? Yeah?
Looks right here. Nikki says, dang, girl.
Dang girl.
That's a good thing, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. It just always sounds odd to when, you know, there's no comparison to that in the UK. We never say, dang, man, dang. No, we have no dang. I've never known what a dang is.
PC way of saying damn, right?
You're not allowed to say damn?
It just depends.
Hmm.
It's a kid-friendly damn.
Okay. Well, if you watch Peaky Blinders, we say a lot worse in the UK than that. So hopefully we've got some great tips in dealing with this texture. And as I say, everyone is very, very individual and has to be approached like that. You want to find out all of these things, you know, colour. How is that colour going to affect porosity of the hair when you're styling it? It's all about closing that cuticle down, making it smooth. Has it been textured? Has it been relaxed, etc.? You know, time spans in between those treatments as well become really, really important. And as my homies who come to Fashion Week with me, anyone who wants to do Fashion Week, wants to become a session stylist, etc., you will got to get used to working on these type of hair types, purely because models come from all over the planet, and you don't have the luxury of saying, well, I don't do that type of hair. We do every hair type, and it is very, very noticeable when we do Fashion Week, when you go and do session work. They expect you to do all hair types, and rightly so. We should all be educating ourselves in all hair types. So, luckily enough, I started doing my neighbour's hair when I was very young, and she was from Jamaica. She had amazing textured hair. I used to have to blow dry it; it killed me. Never clue. I mean, I didn't. It wasn't great when I first started doing it, but you learn and you get there. She was very patient with me. She got a free blow dry out of it, and it gave me a great, you know, advantage in drying curly hair. But you know, when I started hairdressing back in the day, which is like the 1830s, people were having perms and highlights at the same time. Blow drying that, well, you'd have this texture with a perm and a highlight, but it would be so porous, the stuff would fly off in your brush as you were blow drying it. It was like blow drying cotton wool. It was horrendous. So if you could blow dry that, you could blow dry anything.
Nikki made her correction. She said, sorry, Gary. Damn, girl.
Nice. Thank you. Okay, that's beautifully straightened out and smooth. I'm going to do a section from this side with a hairdryer just to show comparison. And I'm going to use, you know, a round brush just to throw a little bit of movement in there as well. I'm going to use a little bit more of a generous section. What I would call like a normal blow dry section, and do that accordingly. So I'm going to spin her round. My hair dries over this side. Like that. Once again, come in with a heat protectorant. Very, very hard to get an even distribution through this hair type. So that's where it's really important. Although you've put some on at the beginning, like you should do, it's very important to be more methodical with this, just to make sure you have got even distribution from it, roots to ends, and just Don't saturate the hair, it doesn't need to be saturated with it, but just a nice amount. And that goes down with experience, knowing how much you've got. You've still got some on your hands. Run that through, roots to ends. Same process when I'm doing this hair type. Right, so let's look at technique of blow drying the hair. Hairdryer's going to go on, she's not going to hear me. So you've just got things to watch out for. I'm going to come in, introducing heat to the hair straight away. And with the brush, I'm really going to take the brush top and bottom. So I went, especially the key area here, as you can see through here, I'm going to be pulling the hair down and using the hairdryer that way. And that is going to flatten out, help me really flatten out that root base by using the back of the comb as opposed to lifting it to put too much lift in. I will go in both sides. And what I'm going to be doing when I'm doing it is feeling the hair as well with my hands for porosity, wetness, how it's reacting, and how much I have to work it as well. Okay, so let's get on with that. Any questions, Mike? Are we good?
We got a hi for Alyssa. Your aunt says hello, my beautiful niece.
Hello.
Hello, Auntie. What's her name?
I'm not sure.
It's HIM93 is the handle. I don't know.
Oh.
You don't know?
Hannah.
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 Hello, Hannah. Thanks for tuning in. Anyway, let's get on with it. I will try and shout above my noise. Question for you. So when someone's blow drying your hair, can you tell very quickly if they're used to doing it or not? Are they going to make a good job out of it?
Yes.
Yes.
I can tell because sometimes when they're not as experienced doing curly hair, they're like super gentle. And like you can definitely
Go at it.
go at it. Yeah.
There you go. Am I doing all right? So what I've found when I'm using the brush on this way, what it does is locking the hair onto my brush, and it's giving me a huge amount of tension through here. And that's where your straightening process is happening. You're shrinking the hair, you're drying it from alpha to beta keratin moment. You're changing the structure. It's really important. It's going from damp and it's going from curly to straight, and having that tension in there is going to achieve that. If you don't put any tension in there and you don't lock it in, you're not going to get it straight. It's going to be frizzy. That's the main thing. I'm sure she's had her hair blow dry before. It's been blow dried and it's frizzy, but straight. It's never a good look, is it? Frizzy straight. So we're trying to iron this out. Okay, so what am I looking for there? Key areas that I'm doing. So I'm putting the brush in, I'm locking it in and I'm pulling it down, so I'm pulling the hair against itself. I'm using a natural boar bristle and nylon. I find for me personally that's a great combination for straightening the hair out. Also barrel size, really important. You may agree with this or not. Sometimes a brush with too big a barrel is not as effective of getting your hair straight. It doesn't get down to the root base. So even though this is a large barrel and you associate with putting it with volume, what I want you to see from here is how close I'm managing to flatten that hair out to the root base. So I'm concentrating on the root base, getting that out, and then I will start working the ends. But we're already starting to get a nice polish on the hair already. So.
We do have a question from Kevin Ryan here.
Hi, Kevin.
I have to do a couple curly girls on a beach location for a job next week. These products, will they help with defining and maintaining natural curls, or do you recommend something else in the range?
Yeah, from personal experience, using the Silky Smooth Heat Activator on its own was great for helping definition and moisture content. The girls in New York were lapping this up and using it by the bucket load. So certainly helps, but because it's a fluid, If you're doing any actual curly work, then I just feel like you want to go down the Boing route. Our Boing Moisture and Define put together, I find that works really, really well. And
One more great question,
Yeah.
unless you're done.
I was going to say, take some Conundrum as well, because the wax in that as well is really, really good.
Good recommendations. He says 20 minutes till the show starts. How and when should you cut corners?
Okay, right, so yeah, I pull in multiple people. That's how I'm going to cut the corners. We had to do this last season. I've said it multiple times. One of the shows, girl came in like Alyssa herself, super curly hair, had to be straight. Extra hands help, but it really was a case of I flat wrapped the hair, both sides, super quick, hit it with an iron. That's my I will hit it. And flat wrapping or wrapping the hair with a brush is like a Denman brush, and you work your way around the head really fast. You can actually get a comb that goes on a dry, it does it, but you really go in there and you just make sure all the roots are taken out, ultimately paying most attention to hairline and parting area, because I can get away with doing the rest of it without making the interior look quite as good. That's mine. You're going to have some great tips as well, so Kevin, please share them with us. Thanks for tuning in as well. I missed that man. He's the most amazing, he's a fantastic hairdresser. Kevin is a session hairdresser based in New York. From the UK originally, but he's more of a New York guy. And yeah, it's great to spend time with. Fantastic. Really happy he's tuned in. I know another trick. Throw a wig on it. There you go. That's about the quickest. Easy. Any more? So let's just talk about coming through to the ends of the hair. So through here, I've got a round brush. Obviously, if you want it straight, don't start revolving the brush around, because you're going to kick the hair under. So what I personally like to do is I feel like I turn my wrist that way. So it's just a very subtle twist away from myself, and that just makes sure the hair stays straight. Simple little things like that will just make sure I've got really nice straight ends.
Kevin says he always starts with an apology, offer them food and water, and try to make them cry and make them off. And wigs are a good backup idea.
Yeah, wigs. Yeah, I think wigs are great anyway. Have a great assistant. They're always good. People really, people take, if you ever get the chance, anyone gets the chance of going and assisting Kevin, he's going to look for people, I'm sure, like I used to, that are great at straightening hair, under pressure, great at doing little jobs that sometimes we just need an extra pair of hands for. So when you say, you want to assist people, if you have got those technical skills and you've honed them, he's like me, he's probably said this, you can't sort of like underestimate the use of a great round brush, blow dry, be it straight, be it curly, whatever. Someone else is with your team that can do those really effectively. It's a game changer. All right, so there's that section done with a brush, with the heat activator. There's only one little piece of detail I've got to do is that little bit of hairline through here. And then we can look at comparisons with, I'm just going to run the iron through that once. It's got the slightest of different looks to it, really, where you feel like, obviously, the iron is really poker straight. Just pull the hair out of the way so you can see effectively. And the blow-dried section through here. Let's have a look at that, Mike. Both beautiful, shiny, fabulous. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for tuning in, for the questions. This is obviously recorded. It goes and you can watch it again under live replay tab on Unite Hair TV, obviously any questions or etc. requests like we had on here, unitetv@unitehair.com. Anything to do with Smoothie Shine, Silky Smooth, Runway Ready, blah, 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 blah. Talk to Kevin Ryan, follow Kevin Ryan. And we will see you on the next one. Alyssa,
Bye.
take it out.